Welcome back, MTG Joe here. Today we're going to be trying out some more historic decks ahead of the Metagame Challenge this weekend. This particular list is a 5-color domain Reanimator fungus deck by Binary Soloist. Plays a lot of historic, something like 20-1 in the events with machinations of this deck. And it's kind of a take on a domain deck, which at one point had like Burial Rights with the reanimation package for Atraxa, but more recently it's been leveraging the package of Slimefoot and Squee. So this was a kind of promo card and standard sets that we got in Arena through the Mastery Pass, and it is a Jund Legend, 3 mana, 3/3. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, you create a 1/1 green Sapperling. And then for 4 mana, you can sacrifice a Sapperling, return Slimefoot and Squee, and up to one other target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield, activating as a sorcery effect. So this can allow you to reanimate things like your Crucius or your Atraxas in the mix. There's also a Slimefoot Thallid Transplant. We're going deep cut with Slimefoots. And this gives you access to a spellbook that you can draft cards from. Whenever a swamp or forest enters the battlefield, because we're playing so many triomes, it's really easy to trigger this ability. So there's a bunch of cards that create Sapperlings here, as well as fungus. So like Death Bloom, Thallid when it dies. We have some... Obviously there could be Sapperlings, Sapperlings. So there's a bunch of things, Sapperlings, that make Sapperlings that can then feed this as a reanimation spell. Notably as well, this can give us targets that we can discard to Crucius to get that value as well. Fable the Mirror Breaker, because it's a busted card. Territorial Kavu as a scalable, it's a 2-drop that can become like a 5/5. Lets us draw a discard, fuels our graveyard, and then also exiles stuff from our opponent's graveyard. Shield's Edict, Fatal Push, Lightning Helix, all as removal spells in the deck as well. Leyline Binding as well, and then Jingat the Companion. In the sideboard, we have access to Fatal Push, 4th Fatal Push, Go for the Throat, 4 copies of Thoughtseize, some Go Blanks for Hand Hate, Itusuku for any sort of like Low to the Ground, the Artifacts deck, these new human decks that are playing in Lurrus. Basically, if it's like a Lurrus deck, this hit comes in. Clarion as a sweeper, Slaughter Games for combo, and Elish Norn for anything that's hitting enter the battlefield style effects. So we're going to give this a shot, see how it plays out. I'm interested to try out some of these Slimefoot and Squee targets, and we'll see how things are. Largely, I'm not too concerned with like rank. We'll be playing in Mythic, but we really want to see which of these decks plays out, learn the decks themselves before we jump into the metagame challenge component of it, and then we try to win some packs. If you are interested in other decks for the Metagame Challenge, I did put out a kind of primer on the format, and as well as some stats from Untapped in terms of other winningness decks. So there's a bunch of videos on the channel that you can get caught up to speed in terms of what Historic's all about, and various types of archetypes, whether it be aggro, combo, control, mid-range. There's a whole bunch of options that you can take forward to the Metagame Challenge. So we'll see how this goes. Basically, playing Crucius is very powerful. Fable's still a very powerful card. The Fatal Push package, Thoughtseize, black and red cards seem good, but they're still like viable blue-white cards. The Artifact Shells are very powerful. Opponent goes first. I think I'm going to keep this. So we don't have Helix till 3, but Helix can catch us up on some life. The one thing I did notice with this deck is it's a little light in terms of, like you do the shock lines. Okay, so they're on the Goblin combo, so we're going to want our sweeper here. Okay, Tomb is okay for a turn. See, the problem is Tomb was like the one land that doesn't produce the other color. All the other shock lines would have been fine here. Blood Crypt, Stomping is that one instance that doesn't work. Okay, so they did have a pause there. The pause could be from both Skirk. So we'll go like this. Unfortunately, if we had gone Sparras there, it would have let us have Leyline Binding. So we'll end up exiling the Horde Master here, I think. So we're going to do this on... Probably do it in combat. So we'll see what they do. Because they could get the mana. So here... I think we go here, they'll sack this, they'll get the mana from it. Okay, so they did miss out. They gave us 3 life there, which is good. They do get a boost, but that's fine. And now I have access to a couple different options, so I can do this as well as the Leyline Binding. But I think I want to set up the Fable, the Mirror Breaker sooner. Get that value there. Think we just say go. So the thing here is if they have the Munitions Expert, we could have done it on their turn, but they would have had 2 anyways. So that's fine. Again, we're going to wait till the combat step here. That way they don't get the mana. We're going to take this out because this gives them the card advantage. Again, they should be sacking, which they're missing. Palishkman is scary. So I think we're just getting rid of these 2. Oh, Lightning Helix is nice. So I'm just going to get rid of this now. Okay, so they've given us 6 life this game. I think we just do this, save our life total. And probably just want something that makes tokens. So sack another creature. It's probably just the Death Bonnet Sprout. This will also fuel the Slimefoot, which is nice. Okay, probably do want to keep the Leyline Binding up. So, black. Green. Red. And then just hold it up like this. So some cool interaction here. We'll be able to, like, we haven't found any of our big hitters yet. But lands give us value. We have Jingantha that we can bring to hand. We have Leyline Binding if needed. And then Squee can start making tokens, which is nice. Okay, so we get Kavu here. We'll probably make an upkeep. I think we just want to try to turn the corner. pass the turn here. So with Ruvenald, we're going to let them attack in, and then I'll just Leyline Binding. It's kind of the key card here. Again, they should be sacrificing this. Make a copy here. It's not going to get much better. Sheoldred's Edict is a bad card in this matchup. You really want to target when they go wide. So Crucius in the yard, land in the yard. Pretty much just run him out. So that gives us some value here. So in this matchup, we want Fatal Push, go for the throat, the sweepers. It is Suku's interesting, but they do have a lot of 2-drops. Elish Norn maybe just as a blocker. So Sheoldred's Edict could come out. Fable could come out. Probably leave it at that, I would imagine. We'll run it back like that. Seems viable. So opponent did misplay a bit, but we'll take it. So we're going to go like this, have access to Fatal Push on their 2-drop, depending on what they play out. The big thing is we want to take them off Lords. The Sweeper will be impactful in this matchup. We'll go Sparas here, gives me access to blue, so I do need access to red, but that's my only blue source, so we don't want to cycle that away. I can make red mana from this, that gives me domain. I think we're just Fatal Pushing this, because I'll likely want to cycle next turn. Okay, so we do have access to the cycle here, which we'll probably do. I have Leyline for 1. So I think here, while this is on the stack, I'm going to get rid of Siege Gang. Just because they can sack all their things and then drain me out that way. So it is a little troublesome to do that. This gives me some blockers, lets me go a little offensive. Can also just give lifelink in a pinch. Okay, so they do have the Hearse. Hearse is fine. At the end of the day, we're not really a super dedicated graveyard deck. While we have some elements, they're diluting their deck. I think we go Jengantha to hand, and just play up the Triome here. I have access to cycle another Triome. So Siege Gang is a bit annoying. We'll likely want to hold things back with Muxus on the top. So we do want to have... This is tricky, because then Muxus just kills me. Because they'd be able to get enough. So we got to kind of take a chance here, go like this, and then Jengantha Sweeper. If it wasn't for Siege Gang, it would be okay, but the Siege Gang's what's concerning. They do have Munitions Expert, which can flash in. They also have just Muxus, which can hit, so they'll probably get me that way. Okay, so not a great flip, all things considered. So depending what they do here, I have access to the Sweeper and the Reanimation. They play it safe. I need this to die to get back Jengantha. Can also just sweep. Problem is I need a Sapperling. Let's see if I can get him to block with the Muxus. They have a lot of damage represented on the board, which is scary. Trying to bait out the Muxus so they can sack a bunch of things here. Where normally like a Sweeper is really good, but because they had the Siege Gang, it was pretty bad. If we had the Jengantha at least, it gives me some value. We have Palishkaman on the top, which is also another drain. This version of like Goblins is good because even against Sweepers you have Insulation, where normally if we have like removal, it's pretty bad. Or like, they're pretty bad. So unfortunately, this requires me to sack. Don't think we can afford. We'll probably end up blocking here. They'll exile my Slimefoot. And they get the Jengantha out as well. So the Hearse did prove to be somewhat viable here. I actually just think if I was them, I'd prefer doing the Den of the Bugbear attack. Has a bit more value. I actually think I need to just take this damage this turn. Try to set up. Okay, so we have Kavu. Start with this, see if I could just get a bunch of blockers. Whenever a land enters battlefield, you're too slow, Swarm Shambler. Just kind of dump the hand here. The problem is they can just sack that and then I die. So we took a chance not blocking there, but I think at that point we're pretty far behind. think we still run it back. Slaughter games is too situational, in my opinion, to bring into something like this. We've yet to draw a Crucius, which would also help in these matchups. I think we mulligan. Yikes. Not great. So Atraxa goes, and I think just the Fatal Push. Because we're going to go like Kavu Lightning Helix. We could have kept that original hand, but it's a bit iffy. Like, we had 2 removal spells. I don't know how much gas we have in a matchup like that. Would have loved to Fatal Push, but fortunately don't have access to black right now. So I think we just try to pressure them. Okay. Another Fatal Push is nice. Let's do this now. It's an interesting line. So they missed the sack again. So that'll provide them some card advantage, but if that's their whole turn, we're fine. We have access to this Fatal Push. Seems like they missed a line drop, which is also nice. We will just get rid of that. I think just being the aggressor here, they're going to have a hard time. Because even if they have a land here, they can't Muxus me this turn, and then I just want to take them off the Skirk Prospector, most likely. Think we continue just trying to like dig for action. Crucius is really nice. So if they throw on a double block, then I will Fatal Push because I go triple here, which is fantastic. Do I even care about the Kavu? Probably. Because like this Kavu is going to kind of carry me. I'm not really interested in discarding anything with Crucius right now, so we'll do this. Because this sets them back quite a bit, and they're at a low enough life total. So Malta 5. Have this Slimefoot hopefully carry us. So they discard. Okay, so they have the Sling-Gang. Probably just continue eating at their graveyard. They could get some blocks, sack, and drain. But this is pretty good because it lets me throw these like... None of these can block profitably. And then this gives me a chance to Crucius away the Slimefoot. And then I also have access to Revolt with the Fatal Push. Alright, we're gonna go up on Crucius. Try to find some gas. Another Slimefoot. We can just discard that. We do have access to... That's kind of annoying. I think we just Fatal Push this. They're going to be able to gain the life, but I wanted to keep them off the reflections from copying Siege Gang every turn. Attack with everything. We'll discard Squee. Leyline Binding's nice. So I Leyline Binding that. They block, block, block. It's not quite enough. So we'll hold off on it. Discard the land. These Sling Gangs for them are holding them in place, but Squeeze also putting a lot of pressure on them, which is nice. So we'll go Greater here. Another Kavu's nice. Just another big body. 2 mana 5/5s. So we'll see what they have here. Just gonna get rid of Snoop. Again, they can sack, but that's going to put them in a position where they Sling Gangs. Munitions is fine. It hits Crucius, but then I can bring it back with this one. So we'll get rid of this. Another Leyline's nice. Because they just sack, they gain the life. So I'm not like super in love with doing that. But we can just kind of loot through our deck and kind of beat them that way there. Alright, so that was a quick demo of the deck. We saw some of the things it can do. We'll kind of feature 1 to 2 games of these just so you kind of get a feel ahead of the next format. But this seems super viable. We'll probably do a full run of the Metagame Challenge with it as well, but wanted to get at least a game demo of each. In any case, thanks for watching. Hope you have a great one and stay safe out there.